New at 6, Hawaii County Police have charged BJ Penn with third-degree assault for allegedly attacking a 45-year-old man at a home on Kanoa Street in Hilo this morning.
Former UFC champion BJ Penn has once again found himself in trouble with the law after being arrested for assault in Hawaii, marking his 6th arrest this year. According to police, Penn allegedly attacked a 45-year-old man, punching and kicking him multiple times before being taken into custody and later released on bail. It's yet another sad chapter for one of MMA's most iconic yet most troubled figures. But that's not all. On the competitive side, Shawn Strickland just dropped a major hint about his next opponent. After teasing that his suspension is nearly over, Strickland responded to a fan comment with 2 words that got the MMA world buzzing. Going to be fluffy. All signs now point to a matchup between Strickland and Anthony Fluffy Hernandez, a fight that could shake up the middleweight division. Subscribe now to MMA Desk for daily news, updates, and let's dive right in the video. Dana White spoke out about a new fight-fixing scare, and he did it in a very serious way. He explained that before a recent UFC fight, betting odds changed in a strange pattern.
He called the fighter and his lawyer and said, "What's going on? There's some weird betting action going on in your fight. Are you injured? Do you owe anybody money?" And the kid said, "No, absolutely not. I'm going to kill this guy." And, so we said, okay. The fight plays out, and first round finish. Literally, the first thing we did was call the FBI.
A lot of money suddenly came in on one very specific outcome, that Isaac Dolgarian would lose in the first round by a finish. That is exactly what happened. Because the bets were so focused and came in at the last minute, sportsbooks got worried and some even refunded bets. Dana said the UFC reached out to Dolgarian and his lawyer before the fight to ask if anything was wrong. They asked if he was injured, owed money, or had been approached by anyone to do something illegal. Dolgarian said no to everything and promised he would win. The fight still went on, and he lost quickly. Dana said this kind of situation is terrible for the sport because it makes fans question if fights are real. He made it clear the UFC will not ignore this kind of thing and will use every tool they have to figure out what really happened. Right after the fight ended, Dana said he walked to the back and called the FBI. He also said he met with FBI agents twice that very day.
Zero. I'm not worried about it at all. What were they talking about? Somebody was saying, well, what's the UFC going to do? We let these guys know not to bet on fights. Do you know what the outcome of this is? Like, if I penalize them, you get cut. They're going to go to federal prison.
This shows how serious the UFC is about protecting the sport from cheating. Dana told anyone thinking about fixing fights that the UFC will be their worst enemy if they try it. He said they would work with law enforcement and push hard to send people to jail. He also named the FBI director he spoke to and said agents came to the UFC offices. The message was simple and strong. If you try to mess with the integrity of a fight, the UFC will come after you guns blazing. This kind of quick action is meant to scare off anyone who might consider cheating. It also sends a signal to fighters, coaches, and gamblers that the UFC is watching closely and will not look the other way. Dana also explained how this situation connects to an older case that fans might remember. He said the new investigation will be added to the ongoing case involving James Krause and Derek Minner. That earlier case also involved unusual betting patterns and questions about whether a fight was honest.
There is heavy speculation that Dolgarian was super involved in fixing his own fight against Yadir Del Valle. And the fact that the Nevada State Athletic Commission, amongst all this, decided to withhold his purse is saying that there are definitely advancements.
By joining the new case with the old one, investigators can look for patterns, shared contacts, or similar methods. Maybe the same people tried to pull the same trick again. Maybe they used the same types of bets or talked to similar insiders. Dana reminded everyone that the earlier case was never closed. It has been active this whole time. That means law enforcement already has files, tips, and data they can compare with the current situation. If there is a network behind these incidents, combining the cases makes it easier to see the full picture. It also means the consequences could be even more serious if people are found guilty of doing this more than once. Some people online claim that hundreds of UFC fights this year were flagged for abnormal betting. Dana strongly denied this. He said those posts were clickbait, meant to get views and stir panic. He explained that the company working with the UFC to watch betting activity is very good at their job. According to him, there are not hundreds of suspicious fights.
Federal prison. If you're that stupid and somebody else wants to do it, knock yourself out. There's not enough money in it to ruin your life and not go to jail. Go to federal prison.
By saying this, Dana was trying to calm fans who might worry the sport is rotten at its core. He wanted people to know that the problem is being handled, but it is not everywhere. At the same time, he did not say there is no problem at all. He was careful to say that this new situation looks bad, even if there is no proof yet. Balancing those 2 points matters. If he pretends nothing is wrong, people would not believe him. If he says everything is broken, fans might stop watching. His message was that the UFC is on top of it and won't let rumors get out of control. Another point that came up was fighters saying they had been approached to throw fights for money. Dana did not like hearing this after the fact on social media. He asked a simple question. If someone tried to get you to do a crime, why didn't you tell the UFC or the police right away? He compared it to someone asking you to rob a bank. You don't brag online later, you report it immediately. Dana warned that the FBI will now want to talk to any fighter who claims they were approached. That is to see if those claims are real and if they connect to a bigger plan.
My understanding is this is on the FBI's radar. How deep of an investigation is unclear at this time. This is all very new, but yes, it is accurate. I believe there's a gentleman named Harry Mack on social media who is having a nice little victory tour after all of this.
This is important because even if a fighter says no, the attempt to fix a fight is still a crime. It also hurts the sport by making fans doubt what they see. Dana's tough stance encourages fighters to speak up in the moment, not weeks or months later for attention. Reporting early could stop a fix before it happens and keep the sport fair for everyone. Daniel Cormier, a former champion and respected voice in MMA, spoke about a different topic, rumors of Jake Paul possibly fighting Francis Ngannou. DC said this would be a terrible idea for Jake. He explained that Ngannou's power is on another level. DC said he saw Ngannou drop Tyson Fury and knows how dangerous he is. Even if Jake has some knockout power, DC doesn't think it compares to what Francis can do. DC warned that Francis does not play around. He does not throw light punches to carry someone. If Francis hits you clean, you go down. DC added that only top heavyweights like Anthony Joshua or Tyson Fury should be near Francis in a ring, and even they must be careful. The message was clear. Taking a fight with Ngannou would not be a smart business move or a safe choice for Jake Paul.
He does not want those issues. While I think it's crazy and I credit him for doing that, and I'm surprised he did that, this could be a ploy. Him poking out his chest, saying, I want Francis. He don't want those Francis Ngannou problems.
Fans might love the drama, but DC believes the result would be ugly and quick, with Jake getting knocked out badly. Bryan Battle had a different kind of story, one about struggle and hope. After he was cut from the UFC because of weight misses, he could have walked away from fighting. He admitted there were moments where he thought about getting a normal job and living a regular life, but he remembered why he loved fighting and believed he was too good to quit. He decided to lock in and go all in on improving. At an event called Dirty Boxing 4, he scored another first-round knockout. That makes 2 straight first-round finishes since leaving the UFC. For him, these wins are more than just stats. They are proof that his effort matters and that he can still chase something special. He said if he keeps working for the next year or two, he might build a great comeback story. This mindset shows that fighters are people first. They deal with doubt and fear, just like anyone else. Choosing to try again after a setback is hard, but Bryan did it, and now he's seeing the rewards. There were several quick updates from around the MMA world that fans found interesting. Johnny Walker told the story behind his nickname, the Clean Monster. His coach gave him that name because he was strong even without fancy technique, and he said Johnny was powerful without using anything illegal. It stuck, and now fans know him by that bold name. In another moment, Khabib Nurmagomedov was seen coaching in camp with Islam Makhachev. Khabib was tough on the team, pushing them to move faster, to be sharper, and to do drills correctly. He expects perfect effort because he knows small mistakes cost you in big fights. Dominic Cruz and Urijah Faber sat together on a podcast to talk about their old rivalry. They showed respect and explained how losing can light a fire inside a fighter. Cruz even said losing to Faber early in his career helped push him to become great. Mike Perry said he would like to come back to the UFC and asked to be on a big White House card, which he thinks would be exciting for fans. And Gigi Prochazka talked about Tom Aspinall's eye poke situation, suggesting that maybe the mental side of the moment made things more complicated in the cage. Shawn Strickland also made news with a short message on Instagram. He said his suspension is almost over and thanked baby Jesus. Then a fan commented MV next, and Shawn answered going to be Fluffy. Most people took this to mean he is targeting Anthony Fluffy Hernandez for his return. This would be a fresh and interesting matchup. Shawn is known for his constant forward pressure and strong jab. He likes to make fights ugly and force opponents into mistakes. Hernandez is aggressive and dangerous, especially with his pace and submissions. If they fight, fans could see a clash of styles that tests both men in different ways. Shawn would try to control distance and break Hernandez down over time. Hernandez would try to mix strikes and grappling to make Shawn uncomfortable. The talk may have started as a tease, but it is the kind of fight that could shape the division's next steps. People are already debating who would win and how. The most troubling story involved BJ Penn, a former champion who once thrilled the world with his talent. He was arrested again in Hawaii, and this makes his 6th arrest this year. Police got a call around 1 in the morning about an assault at a home. A 4 or 5-year-old man told them that BJ punched and kicked him several times. Later that morning, officers found BJ and arrested him without any trouble. He was charged with third-degree assault and released after paying a small bail. He has a court date set for December 2. For many fans, this is hard to watch. BJ Penn used to be known for heart, skill, and fearlessness inside the cage. Now he keeps getting in trouble outside of it. People worry about his future and his well-being. They wonder what support he has and what might help him change. Everyone hopes he can get help, face his situation honestly, and somehow find a better path forward, even if fighting is no longer part of his life. All of these stories show how wild and unpredictable the fight game can be. One day it's about wins and losses, the next day it's about police reports, suspensions, or rumors about cheating. The UFC and its fighters live under a bright spotlight, where every choice matters. When betting looks strange, the whole sport can feel shaky until the truth comes out. When a legend like BJ Penn gets arrested again, fans feel sad and confused. When a contender like Shawn Strickland hints at a new fight, people get excited to argue and pick sides. When a veteran like Daniel Cormier warns a star like Jake Paul, it reminds everyone that power and danger are very real at heavyweight. And when comeback stories like Bryan Battles pop up, we're reminded why we care. We want to see people try, fail, try again, and finally succeed. That mix of risk, pain, joy, and hope is what keeps fans watching, talking, and believing that the next chapter could be even more intense. The MMA world never slows down, and this week proved it once again. From shocking headlines like BJ Penn's 6th arrest to the fight-fixing scandal that brought the FBI into the picture, fans have seen both the dark and determined sides of the fight game. At the same time, fighters like Bryan Battle are rebuilding their dreams. Shawn Strickland is teasing his return, and veterans like Daniel Cormier are keeping the sport grounded with honest words of warning. It's a reminder that MMA isn't just about who wins or loses in the cage, it's about the choices, consequences, and moments that happen outside of it too. Every week, new stories shape how we see the fighters we admire, the sport we love, and the culture that keeps growing around it. The highs are thrilling, the lows are painful, but together they tell the full story of mixed martial arts, raw, real, and impossible to look away from. If you want to stay ahead of every breaking update, every comeback, and every controversy, don't miss out. Subscribe to MMA Desk today for the latest news, fight breakdowns, and behind-the-scenes coverage from the world of combat sports.